And hello, everybody. Welcome to this new edition of GM Web3 MultiversX. Let's be joined by our friend Arno. Hello, Arno. What's up?
Hey, Jerem. Good, a bit tired to be honest, but
Same here.
it's been a few busy days in a row.
It's been a few years busy accumulating.
No, but I'm
Uh,
very happy to be there this morning.
yeah,
Very, very happy.
it will be awesome. Last week with Robert Sasu, it was really appreciated by the community, and today with Adam Bates, we're expecting same vibes.
From one chat to another. That's how you roll.
Next time, Benny, and let's invite our third team member now. Chikapo, hello, Chikapo, what's up?
Morning, guys. Tired like you guys, but we stay here. We are high energy, drink a little cup of coffee and let's go for this another morning.
Coffee pint is the secret. I
That's it.
started here.
Oh, come on.
So, I'm very happy to be here this morning. I've been prepared this interview and show for 1 hour and a half now. So yeah, we slept a few hours, but we are here. I remind everyone that you can watch the show on Twitter, of course, but also on YouTube and on Twitch if you prefer. Uh, and it will be available in replay on every podcast platforms. About the program, we'll start by taking a look back at the main crypto news before welcoming Adam Bates, the new CMO of MultiversX, for an exclusive interview. Let's say it. I prepared many questions. Arno and Chikapo sure did also. But you guys from the audience, feel free to ask your questions in the comment. Um, you know how it is here. People don't have the questions before; they accept to answer all of them uh, as uh, as um, as they can, of course. But yeah, let's try to profit of this opportunity as much as possible. Um, First of all, I would like to thank Hatem, which is the historical sponsor and partner of GM Web3 MultiversX. It's MultiversX leading lending, borrowing, and liquid staking platform and protocol on MultiversX, and they are offering $25 in their token today. All you have to do is to quote tweet the space link. You can find all the useful links on the description of the YouTube video and the audio podcast um, after the show. So yeah, that's for the introduction. Also, don't forget to repost the X-Space link, to put a like, a comment on the YouTube video, and to activate the bell. Same for Twitch. And if you're listening to the replay as an audio podcast, please do the same. It's very important for us with the referencement. And yeah, are you ready for the press review, guys?
The referencement.
Iba,
Yeah.
référencement.
um,
Referencing.
Good
Okay.
one.
So let's go for the news. I don't exactly know when we'll be joined by Adam.
we
Feel
have many things to talk.
to come
Mhm.
whenever you want. So maybe we'll join during the crypto press release, or maybe after, just for the interview. He knows he can come whenever he wants. So yes, a lot of news. So I prepared a few of them for you. Da, 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 da. Let's share my screen and let's speak about what is it? Yes, okay, perfect. So first of all, we'll speak about Ripple.
Mm.
Um, we learned a few minutes ago, a few hours ago, actually, that the stable coin of Ripple has been approved by a New York court. So it's very interesting because we remember that the SEC sued Ripple, and actually it was pretty much over this last month. And the price of the token XRP pumped a lot these last days. And we learned that this is because he wants to issue its stable coin, dollar stable coin, but he was expecting for regulation decision. Now it's done. It's been approved. So what is interesting, in my opinion, is Ripple has partnered with tens of very, very big financial institutions a few years ago. Didn't really made something about it, but like issuing this stable coin can really, really, really be huge because XRP. I don't know if you guys are knows very well this, but what we say is it's one of the few blockchain that is used by institutions because it's pretty much
Mhm.
centralized. So some hates it and some other love it for this. So I don't know if you have a take on this, but I think it can be very interesting.
Do you know if there's a model behind the stablecoin? Like, is there an innovative model, or even if it's, it plays with the current meta of stablecoins that have yield? Do you know this, or?
No, I
No,
don't
I
have
haven't.
the
Okay.
information, but do you think a stable coin with a yield is a stable coin?
No, but it's not. I mean, it's what Circle is doing. It's what all major stablecoins, also decentralized, they have models. It's not even this, not necessarily the stablecoin itself, but strategies around the stablecoin.
Oh,
So
okay.
it can be strategies around the collateral of the stablecoin, but ultimately incentivizing people to hold the stablecoin. And it is what Circle is doing, for example. And they can't do it anymore in the EU, but in the US, there is a 4%
Yeah,
yield on the USDC.
4.7. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I meant just. I thought you were talking about things like Ethina or Usual that are using the revenue from the backing to share it with the holders, for example. And this makes a stable coin not really a stable coin, but more like a
Mhm.
fund, you know. But what is doing Circle is pretty much different. It's like an incentive, but not coming from the yield of the backing, but from like the marketing of the company, and they are offering a yield 4.7%. Yeah, you're totally right. But no, to be honest, I can't find any information about the token. The ticker is RLUSD.
A ticker is quack.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But I think that's a good take, and I will have a look about it. As you say, guys, USDC and Circle already do some incentive for the US citizen. You can saw that kind of initiative on Coinbase right now. Let's see what these guys have in stock for their community because they are working for years for that. The SEC put them in trouble. They won the cases, so now let them build and let's see what's happened.
Yeah. So this stablecoin will be available on main exchanges very soon. So yeah, we'll see if it will compete with USDT and USDC. It will be interesting.
Mhm.
But it says something about the regulation in the United States. By the way, you know, Ripple was almost dead in 2021. I remember when the SEC wanted to kill them, and
Yeah.
now they are approving. It's not ACC, but you know what I mean. They are approving their stable coin, so that's a change in my opinion.
GRM, I would like to bring our audience attention on the targeting that you're having as ads, like maturetenders.com. I think it's interesting. It gives us also some sort of information on who you are.
Oh, come
It's
on.
uh, it's really counterintuitive since I'm not into old,
A,
neither
a,
women.
a,
So
a bull run can change a man.
yeah, or maybe my cookies are not well tracked. Well, it's up to you to decide.
Ah.
But okay, let's move to the next news. Goldman Sachs prepares cryptocurrency
Just
products.
sorry, because there's a related question, stablecoin for so it's for USH, but related topic. There's Soul Surfer saying, Arno, will USH be changeable to USDC? Yes, it will. There will be a pool created right from the start where you will be able to swap USH for USDC. Sorry, Jerem.
No. Audience first. And hi, everyone. I don't know if I said before, but hi, and thank you for being with us this morning. So yeah, let's speak about Goldman Sachs, which is one of the biggest bank in the world, and yeah, they announced that they Goldman Sachs is preparing to offer cryptocurrency related products to its for its clients. Um, and yeah, it underscores the increasing institutional adoption for digital assets. It's not the first move of Goldman Sachs for cryptocurrency, but integrating crypto into its suite of offering uh, says something about the banks and the competition, because of course there are, I think, more and more demands from their customers, and if they are not able to offer some products related to cryptocurrency, the customers will go somewhere else. So this competition is completely positive for cryptocurrency industry. So I don't know if you have anything to say about this, but this kind of news a few years ago would have been just huge and
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
yeah. But I
But
remember when GP Morgan, sorry, Tikapo, GP
let's go. Let's
Morgan
go.
did one of the first moves regarding this, and we went bonkers. Like the whole industry went bonkers. And today it's like, it's a
Yeah,
Tuesday. It's
that's
just a
it.
Tuesday. But I mean, we all. What's interesting is that, and I know especially on GM Web3, we've been talking about this for years. We're not the only ones, but the future of any transfer of information, value, is tokenized. That's the future of everything. It's going to be tokenized. If you can transfer it, it's going to be tokenized. If you can fraction it, if you can peg a value to it, it's going to be tokenized.
If you
That's
need to store, it will be tokenized.
It will be tokenized, plain and simple. So, you know, this is it's nice to see, but it is reinforced by the fact that you can make money. And as you said, GRM, if there's a bank that has clients and those clients start seeing another bank offering, it comes down to the APR. Hey, but those guys are doing 10%. You only do 5. So, do something or I go there. It's plain and simple. So, um, money and incentives also reinforce growth.
Hmm.
until
Yeah,
we
that's
have
true.
a until we have a Celsius or FTX.
I don't know.
After
Now
we start all over.
you got country involved into that, but yeah, we're still bullish on that side. But we already have big players playing around with big money into crypto. ETF is already running. Then you saw news about big GAFAM trying to get some treasury. So
Don't spoil the next news.
okay, but that's another time. But we started to say the Mr. Arno like a lot of news in that way, and we can definitely understand that blockchain will be a big fragment of the future of our economy and maybe administration and so on. So big players around, and it just warming up, and it's a pleasure to see that in that moment of our market.
Okay. Next news. Um, it's interesting because we spoke a lot about the will of Donald Trump and Cynthia Loomis to create a strategic reserve of Bitcoin in the United States, and a few countries and a few presidential candidates a few weeks ago declared it was interesting to do something such a thing, and actually now it's Russian. So they're not kidding, and yeah, so a Russian deputy proposes a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So it's a member of the State Duma, which is like the Assemblée Nationale, House of Parliament, we can say. And yeah, he has suggested establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And of course, it's an echo to what's happening in the USA. So it reinforced the idea that we had the retail, we had the financial institutions, we have the corporate, and now we'll have the countries. So it's really huge, but it's just a proposition for the moment.
Yeah, but it's going to be it's going to go, and I would almost say that all serious countries playing the big game, the big diplomatic, the big economic, the big political game, have started accumulating, even if it's not official.
Yeah.
Bitcoin has transitioned into a global resource now. And if countries like Russia or China stay out of Bitcoin, you can have countries that are allies with different central banks pumping Bitcoin into heavens and hedging their treasuries and their deflationary currencies like this. So in order for those countries to make sure that Bitcoin doesn't become an economical strategical edge to control the world economy, they have to get in. So that if those schemes are played between certain allied countries, they will be there to benefit from it, and so dissuade, make sure that those countries don't manipulate Bitcoin. And we have entered in that game. All serious countries know that. You've seen the top owners of Bitcoin, and I think that officially the US government is like in the top 5. But I heard a Bitcoin expert, saying that actually the US is a big number one, because between all the different Bitcoins that they have seized, like Mt. Gox, etc., they are the number one. So all those countries have to climb that ladder back up. China has already, China is top 5 too. So all those countries will start playing that game.
Definitely.
We can mention the difference between accumulating Bitcoin, we can say unofficially, and doing so in the form of a strategic reserve. Because doing this is first a huge marketing impact. It's transparent, and above all, it's a long-term commitment for Bitcoin because, on average, a strategic reserve has to be kept for 20 years. So it's completely different. And yeah, I follow you completely about the race because since July, when Donald Trump announced it, many countries thought about it. Many, I think, started to work on it. But when it will be done for the first time, and especially in a big country, I think there will be a FOMO from countries. So that's really, really huge. Um, so let's move to the next news, and we'll speak about Salvador.
My friend.
Salvador did not really create a strategic reserve in Bitcoin, but they bought Bitcoin. This is completely this is different in terms of a law. I mean, when it's a strategic reserve, it's declared like this, and it has to be voted. And when you lend and borrow to the market, it's something that counts. But they decided to buy Bitcoin a few years ago. They made a pretty much good profit of it. Well, it's not sold, so it's not how to say realized profit, but they doubled what they invested more than. But yeah, we learned that El Salvador have to change their law about Bitcoin as a legal tender um, because of recommendations from International Monetary Fund, because they are asking a lend of $1.3 billion from the IMF, and the condition to obtain it is to remove the legal tender Bitcoin condition in El Salvador. So concretely, and actually, Salvador said they will comply to this. Bitcoin will not be um, mandatory to be accepted on different shops, but it will be optional. This is the condition. We spoke about it yesterday, Tikapo. So
Yeah.
maybe you thought about it. What's your take on this?
For me, that's not a big deal, to be honest. And then they just have to be compliant with that. The FME told them about this land, but after that, every shop owners don't even be 100% accepting the Bitcoin in Salvador at the moment. So for that, we can say they are still experimenting, so they can take at the moment, and then later maybe do another move. But with this land, they will be able to also maybe invest into their technology, because I don't know if you plan to talk about it, but they find a big amount of gold unreached at the moment, and maybe make something with that to let's say sold that land, and then get back into the Bitcoin into the constitution. Let's see.
Yes, and we also learned that they discovered a large amount of gold in El Salvador. I don't know if you saw this, but it's pretty huge. They discovered, let me check,
3 billion, 3K billion.
3 trillion
Yeah, that's
in
it.
unmined gold.
Huge.
This is interesting because we sometimes compare gold to Bitcoin. And what I sometimes say is yes, but no, because we can discover more gold. You can't discover more Bitcoin.
Actually, you could.
With a Lost Wallet, you mean?
No, with people deciding that
To move.
Bitcoin would change, and the hard cap would change and be voted.
Okay. But Bitcoiners will tell you that first, nobody seriously thought about it. Secondly, would be really, really strange that the voters will go for that. It will be a great hurt for Satoshi Nakamoto and all the basics of the blockchain. So I don't think it's a serious hypothesis, but I saw some, especially people who doesn't really like Bitcoin, saying that it's a risk. But yeah, potentially it's possible. Potentially.
Mhm.
But yes, that's what I. It is potentially. But what's interesting with this is that what's the current market cap of gold? Last time I checked, and it was a long time ago, it was $12 trillion, but maybe it changed.
18
Mm.
18. Okay,
trillions.
so this unmined gold is close to a 20% increase of the supply if it would be fully mined. So in terms of, we often say buy or sell the news. This is a potential increase of the circulating supply of gold. So its fully diluted value has just gone up, and so Salvador could mine that gold and decrease the scarcity of gold and sell it to buy into Bitcoin that has a hard cap, fully diluted valuation.
Yeah. The
So
question is,
we're getting into,
no.
but it's interesting.
It's really interesting and leads us to economical and mathematics hypothesis. So the question is whether the selling pressure creating by this inflation of the supply will be absorbed by the increasing need of a store of value and the decreasing of trust into fiat currencies and the time that this supply will be released, because it takes time to mine and takes money to mine gold. And maybe that's why El Salvador needs this land from IMF to pay for infrastructure to mine this gold. Well, we'll see, but it's interesting.
What's interesting is also if El Salvador 7 years ago applied to get this loan, would have they gotten it? I think IMF in English.
Yes.
Yes, IMF would have most likely said, like, come on, guys, just. And now they just say, oh, okay. This Bitcoin thingy, just tell it's not legal tender anymore, but actually put it as the collateral backing of the loan.
100%. Yeah.
I think a few years ago, yes, IMF would have said, sure, no problem, but I take control of the country. Okay, give me the give me the country. It's okay. I deal with it. Okay, so we have time for maybe a last news before we are joined by Adam Bates. So let's speak about another country, Iran, which embraces crypto regulation to counter economic sanctions. It's interesting because we know that 25% of Iran people are using or holding cryptocurrencies. But so far, Iran refused to really regulate it. It was pretty much a gray zone, we can say. And now they are taking a step forward in formalizing its cryptocurrency market. So yeah, I think it can be interesting, and every time we have such a news, it's not just about Iran. It's about maybe every countries that are encountering American sanctions or so on, and they would like maybe to um, bypass them, and also it's a way for them to take to take profit of people that are using and buying and selling cryptocurrency by taxing them. So all of this is pretty cool to make cryptocurrency normal in more and more countries, but it becomes a real geopolitical thing. So yeah.
What makes me bullish when there's 25% in Iran, 25% of people in Iran hold cryptocurrency. It shows cryptocurrency is also about freedom, because this is a way to store your value in a way that nobody can take it from you. And of course, countries regulate because there's unrealized taxation gains to put there, because there's value. So there's something to get. But what's positive there And it's also how it started in...
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. It's also how it started in El Salvador. How do you allow people to transfer the value of their time in assets that hold their value, at least? It's terrible when you work every day, and the value of your time translated into the money system that we all decided to go for as a species, which is through paper money. It gets, like in Argentina, it gets devaluated 175% per year. That was last year. It's nuts, it's of course it's not fair, and it's terrible.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you. I don't know where you were going.
Hang Arno.
Thank you guys for this crypto press release. Before we move to the interview of the day, I would like to thank the second sponsor and partner of this edition, which is EAPS. It's one of the most OG NFT project on MultiversX, still alive, saying. And yeah, they recently announced a collection on Solana to explore new horizon, but they are staying on MultiversX for their basics. It's important to say it, and they're offering $25 in their token EAPS, and all you have to do to be eligible is to quote tweet the X spaces, and I put, of course, the useful links on the description of the YouTube video and the audio podcast. So now we will receive our guest of the day, Adam Bates. Hello, Adam.
Bonjour, mes amis. That's all I know in French, by the way.
What? Nobody's French here. Nobody's French.
You
Just
all
come
sound
on.
French. You all sound French. But I'm English, so everyone sounds foreign to me.
We are Romanian.
You don't sound it. You sound French. I thought you were
We
all
are, by
French.
the way.
We are French, definitely.
Yeah.
By the way, we are French.
All of us.
Well, that was me trying to be polite and say something in your language, and what do I get? I get a load of stuff thrown at me. Never mind.
Thank you very
Never
much.
mind.
Can you do
Maybe
it
I should just be
in Korean? Can you say it in Korean?
안녕하세요.
So this is you sound French in Korean.
Oh God. 안녕하세요.
I went
Adam,
to,
do you want me to do it like that? That's so basically, hello, how are you? My name is Adam. But that was me trying to, you really put me on the spot here. Look, I'm trying to do French. I'm trying to do Korean with a French accent. And you're NSU, so that's the best you're going to get out of me for today. We should probably just end it now.
I went to Korea, and there, about saying hello, they are saying 안녕하세요. In fact, they are using a very, they are saying like 안녕하세요, and you can say 안녕하세요, and you can say whatever people are understanding, and they're so cool, so nice. You can pronounce it the way you want. They will just appreciate. So it's pretty cool. In French, when you mispronounce something, we'll say, yeah.
Well, years ago, it used to be that all French media would not take advertising or marketing in English.
Yeah,
it had to be translated into French.
Yes.
Yeah, it just had to.
You have a law in France that makes mandatory the translation in French. Every official support or anything, even advertising and so on, it's a mandatory.
It's called defending your culture.
And we like it.
Isn't there another one that says something like you don't have to answer or receive emails or messages once you've left the office?
No.
Well, that's the British media for you then, because I've heard that about French. It's like, brilliant, we're all moving there. In crypto, you're screwed, because if you work 9 to 5, you got no chance.
Definitely. So, Adam, thank you very much. I don't know how long we have. 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half. We'll see. Let me
I
know how long.
I've got a hard stop probably at 10:30 my time. I think I'll just double check, but I think that's what it is. Yeah. So give it
55 minutes.
Yeah, if that's okay. And interesting, I was listening to the talk that you're saying before about just a bit about stockpiling Bitcoin or crypto versus other fiat currencies. There's some interesting things there. If you look at in the previous
Adam,
administration,
I'm sorry. Okay, it's our no, because we don't have much time, and
Okay,
we have
fine.
a lot of questions.
Oh, go on then.
So it's our interview, and you accepted it. So let's not speak about everything that the community maybe is not really interested in. But you will come back to make the crypto press release next time. Okay?
I was listening.
Thank you very much. So first of all, can you briefly, for the community that maybe don't know you already, and I'm sure most of them doesn't really know you. It's normal. You just arrived on MultiversX a few months ago. Can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background?
Sure. I'm Adam Bates. I'm the new CMO of MultiversX. Prior to that, probably the most relevant thing is I was CMO of IOHK and Cardano. So working on the marketing for several years there, working closely with Charles and the team, etc. Prior to that, I worked for
GRM, sorry, mute you when you don't talk. Thank you.
Prior to that, I've run and owned London marketing agency. It was part of BBDO. It's probably the second, third biggest group in the world, 200-300 offices around the world. Worked for Emirates, worked for Barclays, Porsche, Mercedes, Olympics, just a lot of interesting and quirky stuff. First used digital posters in London, done a lot of projection mapping, won a lot of awards for both marketing and marketing effectiveness ever. But what I enjoy is trying to make brands famous, and particularly underdog brands as well. And I think blockchain as a whole is an underdog brand. And so that's what I enjoy doing, just poking the bear a little bit every now and again. But I'm not a degen. I'm probably see, two of you got hoodies on. Like I've said many times, I wear a hoodie when I go to the gym.
Yeah. We'll speak about it, of course. How did you hear about crypto first? What's your first meeting with crypto, blockchain, Web3, and so on?
2016, I was in a car with a friend of mine, and he said, "I'm buying a house in your village." And I said, "Oh, that'd be nice to see you around." He said, "Why?" It's got a big garage, and I'm mining Bitcoin. I went, "Right, what's that?" And he went, "Adam, you wouldn't understand." So that was my first exposure to it. And then gradually I learned more and more about it. But the thing to work with Cardano came out of the blue. Someone approached me, thought that's interesting, head and said, "I don't really know if that's what you want." To me, it doesn't matter what the tech is. I've worked on nano satellites, contactless payment. There's just a lot of interesting things. But I didn't know if the industry was mature enough to want, say, a senior marketing person in there. But then I spent some time talking to Charles, and it's like when I understood his vision, his mission, what he wanted to do, then that became really quite an exciting thing to do. And the biggest challenge, and I still see it as the biggest challenge for marketing, is to make people outside our space understand what blockchain is. I want to be able to go into my local pub or cafe, as you say in France, or whatever you want to call it, and someone says, "Oh, you work in blockchain and crypto," and they don't laugh at you. Yeah, I want them to think, "Oh, you're working on iOS, you're working on Android, you're working on OpenAI," and that's always been the challenge. And that's, maybe that's a little bit of self-inflicted pain, but I think that's the reason why I got into the space. I think I just want to make the technology every day, so almost people don't talk about it.
Can you maybe tell us about your journey in Cardano? What was the biggest challenge? What was the resources that you had? And what's the big achievements that you made there? We'll try to understand what could be the impact of a CMO on the layer one, on the blockchain in general.
Okay, I'll give you some context here. When I joined IOHK, which were building Cardano, there was probably less than 100 people there. I think the marketing team was probably 6 as well. But what happened was it became a perfect storm, because what you had was the market going up. So whatever marketing initiative we wanted to do, whether that was events, whether it was sponsorship, we could do. So that was great. So we did the biggest, boldest events. You know, Cardano 2021 was seven major cities around. That's probably the big bit that I'm proudest of. 7 major cities around the world, 2,500 people, 48 hours of non-stop content streaming, 40 sub-events with 500 people, all linked through a metaverse with the guys that built it for Google and Conchella and NASA and Xbox launches. So, and I think the reason I'm proudest of that is because we had a very simple message for Cardano. It's like the world comes together on Cardano. We spent a lot of time traveling, seeing different parts of the world. So in the middle of COVID, to bring the whole community together from everywhere in whatever format they wanted, you know, whether it was online, whether it was in person, to me was probably a big achievement. Yeah, we won lots of awards. We were Fast Company's most innovative company, which, you know, the only people that don't like awards are the people that don't win them. So I'm proud that we won those as well. But that was fantastic from a community point of view. And there was a fantastic community team there, and there still is. And I think this is one of the challenges that probably we have with MultiversX, is that there was no, I'd say, structure to engage people. So I said, well, why don't we do a regular show? Rather than ad hoc meetings with developers, let's create the Cardano 360 show. Treat it like you would any other news program. Give them the respect they deserve. That's what Apple would do. And we started, there was 1,000 people, and at the end there was over 50,000. We broke Crowdcast. So again, that was one of the things I was proud to do. The other thing is that how can we expect any community, and I'm looking about this for all brands, to share your message if you don't make it easy for them to tell the story? So we built out Essential Cardano. It was a repository of everything to do with Cardano, whether it was community generated or officially generated by IOHK. Now, these are things that I think we have to do, and I want to do for MultiversX. I see similarities in where MultiversX are at the moment to how Cardano was at the early stages, especially in the communication side, and trying to get that out. You know, AI Nexus, which I think are having their TGE tomorrow. You know, working with Mihai, I want to build out a virtual world where you can go and talk to an avatar of Adam or Robert or Lucian or Benny and ask them questions. You can go and find all this information because it's just an efficient way of doing it. So there's lots more that we need to do. But coming back to your question, I think building out, helping build the community, getting the brand and engaging with the community with big events, I think that was super. I think if there's one metric, though, that I value above all others, it's positive sentiment. I can buy you 5 million Twitter followers tomorrow, X followers tomorrow, but I generally try to keep that above 90%. If 9 out of 10 people are saying good things about you, whether they're inside or outside our community, that's a really good metric. A politician, can you imagine if Trump or Biden or Harris had a 90% approval rating? You know, it's like, and we forget that. But that to me is the most important thing. But again, it has to be tracked and measured, and it's not a simple fix. It takes time. It basically takes a lot of love to do. But at Cardano, we got it above that, and for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes, I had nobody hating us on any social media platform. Yeah, that will never happen. That was a consensus 2020. That will never happen again. But it was just like, so
it's interesting to try to understand why some people are hating and why some are loving. About Cardano, we can mention that they have the image of a blockchain that does research, but it's not really adopted, or they are not finding anything concretely. So did you try when you were there to change this image? And it would be interesting to maybe start to foresee the challenge with MultiversX.
So no, I didn't try to change it. I just tried to make it relevant, because every single brand usually reflects the founder and the figurehead. So Jobs at Apple, you know, look at Gates at Microsoft, completely different people, different characters, different products come out of it. Charles is a scientist. You know, he likes research. So he built a science-based and a research project. And I see similarities as well with how Benny builds as well. You're building it on the science. So to do something that's against your DNA, you know, you can't do it. It's the brand. Now, as a fan or a follower, you then have to decide if you want to follow that. You know, you might love Solana. Solana's great. You know, it's a great marketing engine. It's very fast to react. It has a lot of fun. But that wasn't Cardano. And the same with MultiversX. And you just have to figure out the lane that you want to play in as well. So people might hate it, but you can't. It's like, look at a football team. You can't play attacking football, defensive football. You just can't do everything. So all you can do is be true to your DNA. So there's no point in going back to Cardano. There was no point in changing the philosophy and where it was built from. It was built on science. But what we had to do was make it relevant. So we said, we will improve, not change, not disrupt, not destroy the systems of the world for everyone everywhere. Our premise was that if it made it easier for a farmer in Ethiopia to get funding because of blockchain and we could send him money quickly, great. If we could send money to whatever's happening, any war zone easily, we would. So you can't change it, and you'll always get haters because you just will, and you'll always get fans as well. This space in particular is very toxic, yeah. But and that's one of the things that I do want to change. But I hope that.
Let's speak about MultiversX a little bit. First of all, did you know MultiversX before, of course, joining? And what was the idea? What was the image of MultiversX and Elrond at the time? Sincerely, before you joined in August.
I think I knew obviously of Elrond because it's a great name, and Peter Jackson obviously knew that as well, and so there were some interesting things there. I think it changed to MultiversX, and maybe that lowered its visibility, but I think there's a lot of top 100 chains that are all really similar. I think if you put your thumb over their logo and looked at any of their communications and a lot of things they're doing, they are all very, very similar. And I'm not going to pick them out, but you could. You know, we're about speed, security, so, you know, cutting edge technology. You know, it's like you're all saying the same thing. So the difference then has to be how you say it. So I did know of them, and I think that's a particular challenge that I enjoy. You take a brand that maybe isn't as well known as it was, and you try and make it more popular. A really good example, if you know, do you know the Old Spice advertising in America? Smell like a man, not like a perfume, and they used an American footballer, and they changed this Dead Dad's brand around. I'm not saying this is what MultiversX is, but there is something that gives you a huge amount of satisfaction to take a brand that people had sort of forgotten about, and then you suddenly make them more aware of it as well. So I think that's the challenge there. But no, I didn't. You know, it was another top 100 chain that I'd heard of. I think the thing that made the difference to me, and the introduction came through somebody that knew Vitalik, knew somebody else as well, was when I spoke to Benny and listened to how he thought about things. He's a very esoteric, very thoughtful man. And
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Now
we'll speak about
yeah, go on.
after. My next question, and after I'll leave Arno and Tikapo. I know they have a lot of questions, but because we don't have much time, I need
Sure.
to be focused. Why did you decide to join MultiversX?
Because the way that Benny and I had conversations made me think this is an interesting man and an interesting project, and what he wants to build will make a difference. And that's it, really. You sometimes go with your gut feeling. Why have you got an olive hoodie on versus wearing a pink shirt? You just go with how it gets you emotionally. And I've worked, since leaving Cardano, I've worked on restaking and various other vaults and other projects like that. And that's about money, that's fine. But I think there was something in what he wants to achieve. And I think his heart is in the right place, like Charles's was. He wants to do good. And that appeals to me hugely. So I guess I just thought, I just like what you stand for and what you're saying and how we talk. It doesn't mean we agree about everything. We probably don't. But at least we can have an open conversation about these things. But what he wants to achieve, I actually believe in. And that's why joining it. There are other jobs out there that I was offered that paid more money, but I went for this one because I think this can make the biggest difference.
Thank you, Arno.
Yes, I will take the mic now. You said that brands look like their founders, and you have to build somewhat around that. Charles is a researcher, so that was baked in Cardano's brand identity. We just heard you talking about Benny. You also met Lucian and the rest of the team. So what is this core that you take from them to create the MultiversX brand that you're planning on creating?
At the moment, I'm in the process of figuring that out. So I can't give you a definitive answer as to what the vision and mission is. I think when you join a company, the first 3 months, you spent a lot of time talking to people and understanding them and get a feeling for the culture. I just don't have that answer at the moment. It also depends on where we want to play.
Okay, so different question then, because you said also, I make brand famous. That's your punchline.
Okay.
So what's your secret sauce?
I think what I've been good at is doing stuff where everybody said, no, you can't do it. I'll give you 2 examples here. And I think this is what we need to do for MultiversX. I work for a Danish paint brand. Oh, Adam's talking about paint. This is really exciting. It's a really dull product. Most of Europe is rental. You use white paint on walls and wood stain. Work for a Danish company, outspent 20 to 1 by the big brands. And we just played around and we spent time with them and we thought, if you bring color into your day, that will make it better. So long story short, we said we want to paint all the railway sleepers in all the Copenhagen stations. Because when you go to work in the morning and you look at the subway, whether that's in Bucharest or Paris or whatever, it's really boring, it's horrible, there are rats. And everybody said, no, you can't do that. All the authorities said no. They even, and so that really annoyed me. And so, but we did get them to do it. They even had an agreement, said, look, if it's not successful, you have to paint them back to Pui brown after 2 weeks. And so we did it. And it cost around 50,000 euros, got about 4 million of coverage in the first day, won us loads of awards. So that was really interesting because it brought an event to people as part of their everyday. On the back of that, we renovated cinemas and school playgrounds. So that again was a really interesting thing to do because people said no. Yeah. So that's one of the things as well, using projection to put projections onto rival buildings as well. In the dim distance past, I did something where I aped something with a big film studio as well, got us on the front covers of the national newspapers. So again, I think if you have, and also Virgin were my client as well. So if you're doing something a little bit more maverick and a little bit more quirky, then you have to be prepared for some sort of fallout from that. But I think the secret sauce is to do stuff that's just been a little bit more maverick and innovative. Even the Cardano Summit, the 2021 one, was a great example of building something nobody had built before. And at Consensus, we built such a big stand, they had to change the floor plan to accommodate us because anyone on stage would have seen our huge digital wall. So again, I like to be a little bit difficult and a little bit awkward, and that's probably the reason, that's probably a sort of secret sauce as well.
You made an interview with DP Crypto, and on that interview, you shared a book, Play Bigger.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not getting paid for this as well. This is not sponsored content. But if you want to understand how brands sort of should grow, then I would really just do it on Audible. There you go.
Yeah. So once I saw this, I bought the book from my Kindle, and I'm halfway through it, and it's very interesting because one of the things I take away from that is when you're trying to stand out, don't try to be better, be different.
Yeah.
So this is exactly how you operated with this painting brand. But what's interesting with the painting brand in Copenhagen is that you didn't just create a different message, you also hacked an audience. Because metro railways, especially in Copenhagen, if ever you go in Copenhagen, different from Paris, you can actually see the rails pretty easily. So you also had a message that is different, but you also had an audience. So even if you can't tell us your secret sauce for MultiversX, did you already figure out an audience that you could hack into? A channel you could hack into?
I think there's a couple of channels that we should hack into. I think one is just mainstream. It's like, my daughter, how does she know how to code? How does she know to build on something, whether it's an NFT, an RWA, whether it's an app? So I think we have to find a way of bringing the product to the people. We work with this philosophy, I'll build it and they'll come. And I don't believe in that with a lot of tech. You have to make it easily accessible, sell it and they will come. So look at whatever the future of, say, OpenAI is. One of the big things that drove adoption of products like Midjourney, where you can create something that's really easy to use. They've got a great interface. And if you look at our industry and you look at our UI and our UX, it's really hard. And we use a language nobody understands. So for me, rather than trying to get a bigger slice of the pie from the existing crypto audience, we need to take our story to different parts of the world and show them how easy it is. I'd love to do something called a code show, like a road show, just take a Winnebago around different cities, places, and show people how easy it is to code and how easy it is to build something on it. So I think that's one audience you've got to hack. I think the second one is going to be, it's all mainstream, if I'm really honest with you, is where you need that hack. Nobody has yet shown how blockchain is relevant to anybody else's life above and beyond speculation and making money, because that's cryptocurrency. Nobody yet has said, actually, it could make a voting system fairer. Nobody has said it could make journalism better. Nobody has said, look, actually, everybody's making money on Wall Street. Why do you have to pay all those charges? And I think you've got to find a way of taking that more mainstream as well. So your audiences, there's no radical audience in there, but I think you've got to do something to put it in the hands of the people. That's the biggest challenge, I think, for not just us, for the whole of the industry as well. So make it super easy for someone to build our product, because it's not. It's really, really, really not, in my opinion, at the moment.
Arno, last one.
No, not this. I have a question that is more of a. Let's see if we have time for it after.
Just ask it. Come on. It's like, if I feel uncomfortable answering something, I'll just say I'm not answering that. But
okay.
This is the whole point of me trying to engage with the community and trying to be out there. So go on then.
It's very different from MultiversX or whatever. Sure. It's more helping us getting to know you. So you're a bit older than the average crowd here.
You're so polite.
It's because my mom is English.
Ah.
So you've traveled the world. You've worked with many different cultures. I'm interested to know who are the people, and if you could point to a nationality and why, have been the most challenging people to work with, and who have been the most delightful people to work with.
God, that's a good question, isn't it? I think, gosh, I don't think I've been asked that one. I think one of the most challenging people is actually America. And what I mean by that is you don't know what they're really thinking. They're very friendly, but you just don't know what's happening behind the scenes as well. And I think that's very, very, everybody's very full of enthusiasm, very pleased to meet you, but to actually get under the skin and understand what they actually think, you'll get all the way there and then a deal won't happen. So I think that's really quite hard to get that, there's nothing. I love America. I spent a lot of time there, but I think trying to really understand that, and I think it's because it's a society, and this is a sweeping statement, but it is a society about individual success. And to be successful as an individual, you have to maybe make some more tough decisions, and maybe not be as friendly and nice to people on your path to success. The loyalty to a company is completely different to out in the Far East. You'll chop and change just to get up the ladder. So at the other extreme, the nicest people to work with, and I would say I do like working with people out in the Far East, and I'll use Korea, as you know, I've been out there recently. There's a couple of things I like, is that they're very direct, even more direct than Eastern Europeans and Russians I've dealt with. So they're quite direct, but not in a nasty way. So when you have a conversation with, the first thing will be tell them the offer. Whereas in the UK and America, we'll talk about the family and what you've done in your career and everything, and then you'll get to the offer. You'll go in there and say, I want $10 million of you to invest in Bitcoin. All right, then that sounds interesting. Tell me about your family. It's a different way of doing it as well, but it's done in a very, very polite way as well. Everything's very respectful. Everything's very polite. Everything's...
Thank you.
So there is
French guillotine.
No, because
but the other, I know time. Let me just explain one other thing. The difference between, say, America and that is there is a collective energy for good out in that part of the world. They work as a collective to be good. Look at how South Korea, even in the past 30, 40 years, has advanced to a first world economy. It's because they work together. They're not trying to screw each other over. They are working for the good, because the good of the country is for the good of everybody. So there is a different mindset that I do quite like, and that's why I would like to try and find a way of getting that mindset within the blockchain industry, and we actually all work together rather than having a go at every other chain and revel in others' misfortunes. So I know time is tight. I can probably give you a bit more time as well, because this is important. This is important that I engage with the community however I can.
And thank you again for coming this morning. We'll try to ask you questions that the community is asking. And I will make short questions. So if possible, because we don't have unlimited time and we have many issues and questions for you. So if it's possible,
short answers.
Thank you very much. A question I'm taking just right from the comment: what makes MultiversX different, according to you, and how should it be communicated its difference in this competitive layer one industry?
Scalability. It's the only chain out there that can grow to meet the demands of any industry, whether that's LLMs on AI, whether it's processing DNA. One message: we're the most scalable product. And what that means is that it's ready to be adopted by any industry anywhere in the world.
But don't you think every layer 1, 2, 3 are speaking about scalability? Let's.
But we're the only ones that can really do it through adaptive sharding. So every football team will say we play the most exciting football, but we've got proof points that we can do it. So at the moment, that's what we stand for.
Sharding and scalability is still a thing.
Scalability, if you want to get mass adoption at an enterprise and institutional level, is, I think, the key factor. And it's also what we have at the moment.
Okay. Next question. When you arrived at MultiversX, no doubt you maybe carried out an audit, or you tried to see what's happening, what was this existing situation in terms of marketing, communication, and so on. What was the first thing that you most wanted to change or improve when you arrived?
Everybody to talk to each other. Everybody is so busy with their heads down trying to do stuff, it's very siloed. So how can we communicate externally if we can't communicate internally? And it's nobody's fault. Get it this way: everyone's so focused, and it is a very small, lean team across the whole of MultiversX. But that's the first thing, and that takes time to do. It's a cultural thing.
Okay, thank you
Short answers. Come on, I'm going to get even shorter.
Perfect, really. And of course, if it requires more time, feel free. But yeah, we need to adjust to the time that we have.
I can probably go to another. I can probably go to 11:15 my time. I can push something back. Don't worry about it.
So how long do we have left?
Another 35, 40 minutes. Yeah.
Great. Next question about 3 blunders from the community.
Yeah.
Since you arrived, I will mention the 3 I remember. In my opinion, none of them are big deal, but makes the community speak. First of all, was MultiversX is inhabited. So this phrase is some of the community took it in a wrong way, in a bad way.
Inhabited. Sorry, I don't know. Inhabited.
Inhabited. You see that the island was inhabited. When you introduced yourself during the town hall, you said that MultiversX was a great island, but nobody lived there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, we have now.
That's not what you said exactly.
We've created the perfect island, but nobody really knows about it.
Exactly.
You didn't say it was inhabited?
No.
My bad.
But again, this is what you've got. You've got a great product, but nobody knows about it. So that's what I meant. And even if it's just your community of devs on there, that's not going to get mass adoption. It's great. They're all fans, but we have to get more people to the island.
So yeah, I will just mention the 2 others, and after I will
go on then.
Get you the time to maybe explain how you felt, and if you would have changed something, would you change? So the second thing was about the hero tag. When Adam Lucas asked you, "What's your hero tag?" and you said, "What's a hero tag?" So some of the community said, "Hey guys, you drive on MultiversX and you don't know one of the greatest and most ancient feature." And third was about the plane thing.
Okay.
You posted a picture on the plane in a premiere or business class. I don't know, actually. So my question is, did you expect such demanding community? Because MultiversX is a demanding community. And if you had to do it all over, would you do things differently or not at all?
So on the hero tag thing, I didn't know about it. You know, I'm new to the company. It's not been marketed. It's not mainstream. I didn't know about it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to lie? I will never do that. I'll just be open. I didn't know about it. There's the challenge, guys. You're in the community and you know about it, but nobody else has it. It might be an amazing feature. So my job, if it's part of one of the messages or narratives you want to do, is to say that. So I didn't know about it. And I don't. And it might be an amazing feature, but if it hasn't reached me.
And now you do?
I know a little bit, but I don't. Because is it really going to be the tool that drives adoption? It might be something like, look at Bobber. I didn't know Bobber. So again, I'm not going to apologize for that fact. I'm trying to learn about it as I go forward. It takes time to learn about a community and what's important to them. But I'm not going to say, oh yeah, Bob is my best friend. I've got him tattooed on my arm. I'm not going to do that with you guys. I'm going to be really open to things like hero tag and Bob. Yeah, no, I didn't know. You know, and because you get so wrapped up in your community, in your world and everything like that, then you expect everybody else to do that. What I'd ask of the community is help us try and spread that story more. You know, you are our mouthpiece, you are our army to do that. So rather than say, well, he didn't know about that, etc., etc. You know, so I just have to learn. And I'm coming into a new company, and I'm trying to learn about it all the time, plus do a lot of other fixes and get things underway. So the next one then is the flight. Okay. Now, how can I do this as well? What surprised me the most was the response from the community. It's like I've always done business this way. I've always flown, I've always done it this way, etc. as well. And I'm trying to take your message and your story to the world now. So I'm proud that I'm representing you, and I'm proud that I'm going somewhere. So that was what I was doing. But the reaction about, you know, you're on a plane, you're flying like this, I hate to say it, but I'm 6'5". If I travel for 36 hours, I'm like an alien coming out of a ceiling, and I land and I do 2 hours. I straight away with 2 hours landing, I'm into meetings. So it's just how I've always done stuff as well. And there was nothing, it was no showing off. It was nothing like that. It's just, hey guys, we're taking our message to some part of the world. And what people focus on is maybe, oh, you're on this business class flight. Fine. But that's just how business is done. The number of people I meet doing this as well. And I'm sure it did upset people as well. And it wasn't my intention to do that. My intention was to say, I'm trying to take the story within a couple of months to different parts of the world. But I think in some ways it symbolizes the whole of our industry, is that people can be more keen to hate than support as well. And it's easy, you're a keyboard warrior, and that's fine, and I have to understand it. So I won't be doing it again, but my intentions were good. Sometimes the best intentions of the world sometimes don't lead to the best results. I expect 7 out of 10 things to be successful. So
thank you. Thank you very much. Tikapo, you had a question. Let's go.
Yeah, but I'm muted. No, that's okay. Okay.
No,
Perfect. Adam, I don't know if you know it, but MultiversX really struggle with onboarding brand new devs. And as a developer, we have really big, let's say, problem to talk about the tech and the solution about outside the ecosystem. That's a big pain point at the moment. So my question is, do you have already identified some persona or some way to talk from dev outside the ecosystem to let them have a look into the tech and the vision of MultiversX? Because for us, actually building on the chain, that's a mission that's quite hard at the moment.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And it's one of the things that needs to be addressed. So how easily can you learn or find out anything about MultiversX and how to build on it? Is there a whole suite of explainer videos? Is there a whole load of easy documentation? Is there a whole load of blogs? No. That's part of my role. That's what I learned from Cardano as well, is make it easy for people to understand and share. So we need to do better at doing that. And that's part of the plan. Everybody in the team will want to do that. It's like, you've got to do everything from your hackathons to your various events, whether it's X cities, whatever it might be. But you also have to make it for somebody who searched for stuff. And even if if you were to do a search now and you weren't, the analytics, the browser, etc., didn't have your history, you'd find it really hard. You find it really hard to find out anything about how to build on a blockchain. And that goes back to what I said earlier, is make it easy for people. So your question is something that has to be addressed. And it's like, make it super, super easy. Now, we are trying to do initiatives in different parts of the world so that we can take the product so people can build on it. But we need a suite of explainer videos, of documentations. Just saying to someone, oh, it's in the docs, is, in my view, is not good enough. You can't do it, guys. As an industry, we can't do it. Don't make it hard for people, make it easy. So yeah, we need to do that, not just MultiversX, but as an industry.
Okay, perfect. And one last, if I can, Jeremy, that's okay. Time. Okay.
Yeah, you chat. Honestly, just ask anything you want. I'm here.
Okay, no problem. So, what about the, let's say, welcoming about the Korea, about the multiverse vision, and so on? Do you identify maybe or starting some discussion with relevant people here, or maybe have something to tell us about your trip on Korea?
What would you like to know?
If you make relevant connection about brand companies, I will not.
Okay.
If you can say something with DNA, I can totally understand. But give
That's
us
okay.
some paper,
Well, question: have you looked at the Full Shard podcast where we spend about an hour or so looking at? Yeah. So there's certain things out there. So what you have to remember is that connections out there are sort of secretive. You can't say, oh, I've met this person, this person, this person. I believe that we have a huge opportunity out there to get serious companies on board. There's two levels here. There's the retail, and there's also the big corporations. The big corporations will take more time, but they have the trust factor. You know,
Okay.
if you're embedded into and I'm not saying these are the companies we're talking to, but into a Kia, a Cacao, you know, into a Samsung, whatever it might be, whatever it might be, that gives you a huge amount of trust within governments, everything like that. What happens behind the scenes, so that makes a huge difference. I think when you look at retail, it is a different market out here, but it's a vibrant market. I've said this repeatedly. You know, prior to Trump and prior to the 6 hours of martial law, the amount of trading they do is huge. I think when martial law was lifted, Korea alone was doing $30 billion of trade, which was half of Binance globally. But they work in a different way. They like to go through centralized exchanges. So it's like going to a legitimate casino, let's say, rather than a backstreet casino, and then you can speculate on what you want. And I think we have to know and get the listings and work with the various exchanges out there to do that. There's also a huge trust factor. Trust is super important, and for our maybe degen meme culture as well, that not necessarily works out there. It's great, it builds communities, but you have to be seen as a highly visible brand to do that. When they trust you, then yes, they will speculate, they will invest, they will do retail. So it's a different game. I think the market is ready for us out there. I would think that we could definitely be one of the top 10 chains out there without any shadow of a doubt. We have a great product and we're starting to make those connections out there, but we need to support it.
Thank you, Adam. Oh, Tikapo just left after the end of the question.
Oh, he's had enough. He's had enough.
I think it was okay. You are close to Charles from Cardano. So, what's your ambition for MultiversX in this rapprochement with other crypto players to surf on Trump's pro crypto ambitions, and Charles as a crypto advisor with what's your ambition for MultiversX in this table?
If you think what the original vision was for X-Day Global was to bring everybody together, that's it. You know, we have to be part of a core of chains that work together for the good of all blockchains. Now, whether that's working with Cardano, whether it's working with Algorand, whether it's working with Sui, Say, Solana, Aptos, it doesn't matter. It matters that we come together as a chain. So what would be perfect? Wouldn't it be amazing if we could have Charles, Vitalik, Gavin, Benny all on stage at X-Day Global, whether that's Korea, wherever it might be, and actually we're working together. And I hopefully can start to make those conversations happen, or at least try and say this is what we should be doing. There is a shift. And the shift is driven by America, and the shift is driven by Trump wanting to embrace cryptocurrencies, and the people that are there and things like the DREC Alliance are referenced. And look at Charles saying, I know that I've said things about Solana, but please, let's try and work together. So, he has a much bigger profile than me, obviously, he's a much, but he's trying. And if we can work with any other chain, and remember, this is the key thing to scalability and sovereign chains, etc., is about bringing all these other chains together. So we at the start, and I'll do this. I'll try and do this shortly. The DNA of MultiversX, and especially something like sovereign chains, is that it can bring all the other chains together. That's our DNA. So everything we do should be seen to do that. We have the technology, the scalability to bring all these disparate people and projects together.
Okay, thank you very much. You spoke about sovereign chains. And no, it's interesting because we learned that yesterday that the first and so far only sovereign chain to be launched by Onefinity chain has been postponed until September 2025 at the latest. This is very regrettable because MultiversX had capitalized a lot in this innovation, and I think it's a good one. But unfortunately, we did not see the light of day for too long. So So what are we going to do in the meantime to ride the bull run? This is a question from the community, but we are all asking it, of course. And it's not just about EGLD price. It's about being there by making and by launching things. So you guys from MultiversX, what's your position with this late launch of Sovereign Chain?
Okay, so there's two things. First of all, watch the town hall on Friday with Benny, because that will answer some of your questions. I think the sovereign chains is something I believe we should push hard. That's my view. But we have limited resources as well as to what we focus on as well. And in some ways, you have to try these things, like in politics, and say, okay, let's see what the reaction is to pushing something out there. What was the reaction to sovereign chains? The reaction has been quite strong. We should be doing it. I think it's a great product as well. So again, it might be something you reevaluate the community sentiment and go, okay, let's have a look at it and what we actually push. It went out probably not in the best possible way as well. So it's not like an official communication to start with. And again, this is talking about siloing and how everything works together. So I'm just trying to be open about this here. I think that sovereign chains is a hugely important thing. However, I'm not a technical, I'm not Robert, so again, I just need to dive into it in a little bit more detail. That would be my open answer to you.
Adam, from your current understanding of sovereign chains, and I believe that from what you said, you understand it at a high level enough. You say, in your opinion, it's a good solution. It means that when you say this, you most likely think that it solves a problem for a specific customer. Who is that customer?
Okay, it solves a problem for nearly every other L1 out there, and L2, that they can work together and bridge things. I've called it in a way like an API, a blockchain. It also makes it very, very easy if you're going into another company, that let's say I want to bring our blockchain to a company that's building on Solana. It's a very fast way of bridging it together. It's a very good way of doing cross-chain, multi-chain, private chains. So it's a great tool to start that conversation. Now, it'd have to be bespoke for a particular client, especially at enterprise level. But I just think that the idea behind it and what it can do is just fantastic. It just is. And marketing is about narratives, and it's a story you can sell all day. All the chains can now work together in a seamless way. It can accelerate other chains. It means that enterprises that are built using some systems can bring this in.
There's, if I may, there is a big challenge here. You're most likely aware of it, but I'm just going to state it anyway. So I've been in this space full time for more than 4 years, and it is one of the most tribalistic place I've ever met. I've been working for now a bit more than 10 years, and it's insane. And I worked in the sports industry, so football. And you have companies led by engineers, and they all started to build on this technology because they think and they believe that they have a better understanding, a better take at the problem. And so when you bring in a solution that basically they have to step on their ego first and admit that their solution is not good enough today. That's the first challenge I see when we say, okay, we're going to have Solana, use an external technology that they haven't built. And the second thing is interoperability between chains is a major opportunity business-wise, because it is a major problem. And you already have companies like Layer 0, Wormhole, Axelar, CCIP from Chainlink, etc., etc., etc. All those companies are solely focused on interoperability between ecosystems. If you answer this question by saying, I believe that external companies exterior from blockchain could be brought in through sovereign chains, I would believe it. But there I have such a hard time believing that those companies that I've seen evolving for years and being so tribal would accept this.
It's a challenge.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not doable, but it is such a complex challenge. I don't know. It wasn't a question, but
Well, it is a challenge, but I think if we put aside our egos, then it is for the good of blockchain as a whole. And so I think we have to do it. The question about engineering versus marketing is a perennial one. We're building new technology that nobody knows where the traction is going to be. So we have to try that as well. I think whereas an industry, we need to think more is about this product market fit. What does the market actually want blockchain to do? At the moment, people know it as a speculation engine that you can buy and sell and you can make money on it. But the actual real world adoption has yet to really happen at scale. And I think that only by the different chains working together, the simplest example is you couldn't get Microsoft products to run on Apple years ago. And they actually decided it would be better for both parties to work together. And I think if they can do it, then we can. But it's not easy. You can imagine Gates and Jobs trying to fight it.
Even iPhone are supplying their screen at Samsung, I think. So it's not impossible, but yeah, hard challenge.
But what's interesting here is, sorry, Adam,
go on.
It is basically economic alignment that brings everybody, it's blockchain is a fascinating technology because it incentivizes everybody to push in the same direction because we all have economic alignment under one token on a specific blockchain. So if sovereign chain is a way to grow both ADA and EGLD at the same time, then there's something interesting, and it means that we need a champion. We need another blockchain to champion this technology, to champion this new type of bridge, because by doing so, they don't lose. I mean, everybody is afraid of its own liquidity being captured, its own owners being captured. So if this technology is a way to grow both ways, then all we need is a champion. All we need is a champion to show that it's possible.
And with luck, it could be MultiversX. Now, wouldn't that be a great situation?
But who would be the champion? The first ecosystem accepting to test the sovereign chain, because it would be an ecosystem that has a lot to win. So I will let you.
I can't answer that.
I don't know.
But you understand the vision. You understand where we're trying to get to, not just for the good of MultiversX, but for the good of all the blockchains as well. In the same way, Polkadot and Cardano having an integration. It just is the right thing to do for economic alignment, for community alignment. It's like Bitcoin. Everybody's happy when Bitcoin goes up. It's the one thing that aligns us all together. And we have to think about, we need another one of those in our space to make that happen. Not just its value, but what it stands for. And we don't have that at the moment. And I would love, if my legacy was that I'd managed to do that with MultiversX, that would be a great legacy to have in this space.
Thank you very much. Let's speak about Benjamin's communication is criticized by some, while Lucian and Roberts are much appreciated by their content. Is personal branding and founders, core members, personal branding part of your remit, And are you working on this, or it's something that is totally in the hands of these people?
Yes, I should have a view of it in the same way the President of the United States, its Chief of Staff, his Secretary of Defense do that. However, what you have to, he's very, very true to his character. I can't write like Benny, he can't write like me, or Robert, or Lucian. What we need to do is have Benny, Lucian, Robert, etc., myself being out in different audiences, because there are people that will resonate totally with how Benny is as a person, his views, his philosophy, like the recent thing he did about quantum. Great. But that's not something is close that I would share as well. So I think I don't think he should change to appeal to everybody. He's true to himself. That's his character. You can't do it any other way. But what we need to do as a company, and what I'm hoping to, and hopefully by doing things like this, is that you have different people. You have Adam, you have Robert, you have Lucian, and I'm trying to get more and more people to speak. And then you go, I don't like how Adam talks. Idiot. Let's talk to Benjamin. He's much more scientific and engineering. Fine. Just choose your player. But one of the things we did at Cardano, we had lots of different people talking for us. So you just find the level of communication and the personality that you like.
But when you arrived, it was exactly at the same time that we saw a pivot, and notably during the last town hall, where Benjamin admitted things and decided to remove some products and to focus on others. And it was the first time for years that he officially in front of the community saying, okay, this was a mistake. This we decide to give up for the moment. But anyway, X Fabric, X Word, and so on. Is it the Adam Bates touch, or it's just a coincidence?
It would be arrogant of me to say it was an Adam Bates touch. I just think it's the marketplace. You've got them, the company knowing that they need to do that, and then hiring an experienced CMO, they align together. So you can see a shift in direction as they want to do. You have to put a business head on. And we've got products that are fantastic, but can we support them? Where does our focus need to be? You're trying to launch too many products at once. So this is what we're saying to the community here is, look, we're going to streamline our products so we can focus on what we think are the big bets and we'll win. And we know that we are weak on communication. You wouldn't believe how small the marketing team is doing everything. You just wouldn't. When I got those, like, this is insane. And so they signaled to the community, look, hire someone like Adam and his background in Cardano. So it's not my effect at all. It's the fact that there is an alignment within the business to do this. The same with bringing someone of Greg's caliber on to support X Money. We're going to hire bigger hitters, people, and have more focus on it. That takes time. If you've worked on a project for 3-4 years and someone kills it or says to one side, it's like saying your baby is ugly. It hurts. And you've put your heart and your soul into that. It's not done lightly. It's not economics. There's a real big heart issue into doing that as well. But we're trying to take MultiversX from let's say a startup mentality to a scale-up mentality, and you just have to do that. So it's coincidence, maybe alignment, but you can see a shift in direction by bringing people like myself and Greg in and streamlining the product suite as well.
I have 3 last questions just for you to know. First of all is about, and the community is asking too, so it's alignment with the community. What are MultiversX ambitions outside of Europe, and which continent do you think is the most relevant one to focus for the next month, let's say?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, my question was over. Maybe my turn was
Okay, so I think there are 2. I think that the Far Eastern Korea is vitally important because of the retail market and the volume of trades that are out there. And I think that we can be a top 10 chain out there for retail. That's why that's so important. And then a year later, that will lead to and build the base for enterprise adoption. So that's one market. The other one is America. And because of the new administration, it's a harder market to crack on retail, but they're going to drive enterprise adoption and government adoption. If you saw the thing that Trump posted yesterday, any company that is going to invest $1 billion or more in the US will be expedited. You'll get everything to bring that in. He's got a business head on, and that's why he's doing blockchain. That's why Bitcoin might well be the digital gold reserve. So again, there are different games to be played out there. So from an enterprise corporate level and a governmental level and real serious big scale adoption, America is important, hence why the scalability message is better, because Ethereum Max we're 1,200 times faster than Ethereum Max. So we can take on all the challenges and the scalability that government needs. Whereas out in the Far East, there is a burgeoning retail market that we need to be part of, let alone how RWAs are going crazy out there as well. So those would be the two that I would see as the focus, or for me as well. So it will be a divide and conquer approach.
I definitely agree on this. Thank you very much, Adam. Next question is about
What car are you driving? I've seen one in there says, what car are you driving?
Oh, you can answer this one, of course.
Okay, I drive a Volvo XC90.
Okay.
And do you want to know why? Because the most valuable things in your life are your family, and it's the safest car in the world.
Okay.
This was paid for by Volvo. Also, buy my book, Play Bigger. Brought you.
Okay. You've said that you're not a crypto boy, and you've said that you're not a big Twitter X user. So, is it possible for a CMO of a blockchain? Everything is happening on X, and so is it possible to be the CMO of a blockchain without mastering 100% the crypto world and the social networks, and especially X world?
Well, we'll find out, won't we? But, you know, the point of when you're a little bit older, more, you know, I'm not in X every single second of my life, but there are people at MultiversX that do that, and they're better adjusted to it. It would be like if my daughter, she would just, Dad, don't even go there. And that's what you do. You look for the team that can do the jobs better for you, because they will make us all look better. You know, to that end, you know, I would say to anybody that would like to come and work in the marketing department, you know, reach out to me, reach out to Alex, go through the admins. We need people that are fans and know the little nuances. You know, even people that might have 500 followers, they're saying messages in different ways. So my role is to give the team the support and the resources to do that as well. So
And
you are the first brand I've actually done anything on X on, because I thought it was important.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you consider that you have enough resources for the social network, for example, in your team?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Okay.
You can apply GRM.
I'm so busy. And yeah, last question, and it's a discussion that we had at Excities. And I never spoil a private talk, but I will just ask the question, of course. And it was great to see you at Excities, by the way. Great for you to come, great for you to to be there with the community, and it was very, very appreciated by the attendees. So it's said. But we have a talk about CMO and business development, because on MultiversX we have many challenges: the marketing and the business development. And you told me that basically both were related, completely related, and it was part of your job. So can you maybe develop this point between the marketing, so how people see us, and business development, how people buy us? I vulgarize, I simplify.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's do three strands to this. First of all, the one that we all know and we all talk about is the community. So we've got a team, but we need a much bigger team, and I'm reaching out to people, anybody that's interested in coming to work for us, etc. Send something to me or to Alex. So that's the community, and that's where we focus on. But what's our brand? And our brand isn't within our community. Our brand is to the outside world. So if you go into a meeting or something and you don't have to spend the first 5 minutes explaining what your company is, what they do, have you heard of them? So that's where there's another stream that says the brand. And the third is the business development. Now, does anyone in our industry really have a good BD funnel? And what I mean by that is traditional businesses will have various things where you have marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads, etc. So you've got a funnel of where stuff comes into. And I think we need to bring that much closer. You've got build from the community from the ground up, and then marketing and business development work together a lot closer to give them the tools that they need to be able to sell our product, to explain it to people. That's why you have to turn up to events, and not necessarily all Web3 events as well. So they have to work together. I don't see it. Sometimes in companies you have like a chief revenue officer and your chief BD commercial officer and also your marketing person will report to them. It's business. And just think about it like this. At the moment, the blockchain industry is a little bit like a trust fund kid. And I'm being provocative here. They've had a lot of money come in that they can do what they want with. And because the market dropped, they've now got to find ways of earning real income. That's why BD is really, really, really important. So you sign a BaaS or a SaaS deal that starts bringing in tens of millions of money in. So it's not dependent on your stock price, for want of a better way of describing your token price. So it's a different type of business. And how can they work without marketing? They just can't. We've been really lucky as an industry. If the price hadn't gone through the roof in 2020, 2021, what would we be doing now? We'd be trying to do proper business development, but we haven't really had a need to do it.
There's Adam's question on the screen where he says, so now with the sovereign chains delayed, what will be the selling point of MultiversX in the upcoming / already ongoing bull run? Let me merge it into a bigger question. On the last podcast, you said that the biggest challenge, the biggest risk, I think it was Benny who asked you the question, what was the biggest challenge or risk? And you said being defocused.
Yep.
So it actually plays into this question and into your previous answer about marketing and biz dev. Although it feels unnatural, usually the good thing to do is to specialize so that you're identified for something precise instead of solving all the problems in the world. So, now that the sovereign chains narrative seems to be out of the way, what is your answer to what should we focus on? And you already said scalability, so please either deep dive or...
So you asking what our go-to-market is and what we should focus on?
Yes.
Okay. I can't tell you that now because that's obviously what we're working on at the moment. However, I still believe that sovereign chains and what they stand for is important. I think it's a key part of our narrative. I think the challenge that not just us and the industry has is product market fit. Where we're building stuff to the challenges that we know, but what does the market want? And I think the thing about sovereign chains is probably might need a refocus. I know that people will take the product, but what we need to do is work in a different way with BD to bring that in. So we need some really good use cases as well, because with something like sovereign chains, one size does not fit all. The idea of sovereign chains that you could work with other L1s and L2s, that's one story. The fact that you could work with legacy systems, that's another story as well. So I think sovereign chains is still a super, super important thing. I just think we need to get possibly a better market fit here to this as well. But I haven't had those detailed discussions with everybody, within the company as well. And that's me being open. I think what you've seen with MultiversX, which is its strength and its weakness, and probably across the industry, is that they're great at building all these different products. Now we have to focus as well. And it might be, and I can't share everything with you guys here, that there is one client that's just going to kill to have sovereign chains. In which case, everything starts happening again. But this is just me, and it happened yesterday. So I'm just trying to be open with you. I think it's a great product as well. It's just there are other factors that might affect when it does happen, etc.
It's really hard because you have those natural cycles in crypto that bake in those happy hours you have to ride when all the industry valuation is going up, and then you have those downturns, and so it feels like it always feels like everything is not going fast enough, especially with technology. Things are not getting built in the right time, but we need a message, and I know you know that. So one of the things I'm personally excited about to see what is going to come out of you and all the work that you're going to channel is what is our message.
That's what I'm working. What the vision and mission is that it will solve. And I think the other thing that everybody says crypto. That is only one thing that blockchain can do. And if the one thing I learned from Cardano was, we said, we don't care how long it takes to build, we're going to build it properly. Now, if you just want to ride crypto waves, you can do buy the news. And we won't do that. We're a better company to do that. We are not just going to do the hype and that. And you have to understand that long term, I think MultiversX will be one of those that's there for the long term. The same way Bitcoin has been. It's gone up and down, but it's always been very, very steady. It's not been a sort of pump and dump thing. And I think just trying to ride the market wave, although important for everyone that's invested in it, isn't a long-term strategy when you're building some serious tech as well. That's my view. I just think it's a different approach to how you build and do stuff. And then when you do get some serious scalability and serious adoption, you'll go, that's right. You weren't just a speculation engine.
It's true, but when you hear Benny say everything is a meme, every token is a meme, and tokenized memes are a great way to evaluate the strength of a culture. It also shows when your token is not competing at the same level as other layer ones. It also shows that your culture is not as strong as others. So I understand, and I play in this, and I also believe that MultiversX is there to build for the long term. I also understand people who want number go up, because ultimately it also shows strength and belief, etc., etc.
So I don't know if there's a question or anything.
No, there's no questions here. It's just my opinion.
We can't please all the people all the time, and we can't have the token price going up all the time. That would be impossible as well. I think what brands like Solana do, they are great at riding trends, but they are just fantastic. They are very fast to react. They ride those, and that's great for them. I think, this is my view, I think memes are misunderstood. They are a serious currency, but they're a fun currency. It's like if you were to buy, I was thinking about this, so that ringtones on your phone. Yeah, there are companies that are worth billions of dollars making ringtones on phones, but where's their value? It's a piece of fun. And I think if we look at it like that, and actually we look at it as an adoption engine with meme coins, it brings people in to the market. Think of it as a marketing tool, not as a serious, let's say, financial. It's a bit of fun. It's like going to the casino. It's like having a peppy chip and you gamble and you win stuff back. Fine. It's marketing. It's a great thing. It brings people in. Whatever happened with Pump Fun before the very end of it, it was great. Someone created a Bateman coin for me. Well, that's fun. Makes me feel great. So again, let's not beat our industry up or each other's up. There are things where companies like, say, Solana can react faster than we can. We're doing it in a different way, so we're trying to learn from those as well.
Thank you very much, Adam. Really, thank you very much for taking the time. We'll finish this interview by the question I just displayed on the screen. I think it's a good question to conclude this interview, unfiltered and really frank. And thank you again for taking the time to answer all of them. So, can we expect the vision and mission to be revealed at X Day, so in April, or maybe sooner? We can mention that Benny will host a community town hall on Friday, on the 13th. So it's on Friday, I think. I'll let you answer this one, and I, of course, let you have the final word for this interview.
No, you can have the final. Okay, so can we expect the vision and mission to be revealed at X Day Global? I don't know, is the answer. I'm working on it at the moment as the market shifts and changes. I'm also putting a whole proposal in for what we do in 2025. So we will do an X Day Global, but the whole rollout needs to be agreed internally, and that's what we've been working on at the moment. So I would think X Day Global is a different thing to our vision and our mission. X Day Global is about bringing all the products, the chains, the Web3 world together. It wouldn't be the appropriate place to do that. If we were going to announce our vision and mission and update it, then we'd do it somewhere else. They're two separate things as well.
And something will come out from the next community town hall. Of course, you will not spoil what Benny will say or announce, but do you think it's worthy to attend it, or it will be just an esoteric thing?
I think that you guys, no, it's true. I think anyone that's interested in listening to the CEO of the chain that they love and support should listen to it. And make your own decision out of that. We can't please people all the time. I think what you have to look on the positive is that you waited ages for a town hall in October. You've now got another one in December. So we've kept our promise to talk to you. Whether you like what's being said, we can only say we promise to turn up, we will. I'm trying to appear on as many different spaces, interviews, etc., and go to as many places as I can, because I said I'd try and share the story. So you might criticize how we do things, but we are trying. We are trying to change and communicate more with you. So I would take that as a plus point as well. I think doing things like X cities are really, really important. There's 100, 150 people there. It was great fun. But I have to turn up to those. If they're in my local city, I have to come and put my arm around you and say how you're doing and everything. And I have to do, I have to do these calls as well. And whether they're on we just have to do it. So judge us by our actions, that we're trying to be true to communicate more. What we say you might not agree with all the time. But guys, we are trying to change, and we are trying to talk more to you and communicate more. We want your feedback, but tell us what we can do better. That's what I would say as well. You might say, Adam, stop appearing on all these different shows as well. I've seen too much of you now, I'm bored. That's fine as well. But always come with a positive. Somebody say, we could do this, but can we do this? Actually, we need more people here. Why don't you go up to this event? You should be. I will listen to people, our admins, that will say, you need to talk to these people, and I will get in contact with them. So.
Thank you very much, Adam. Maybe do you want to say something to the community for the last word, except just what you just said, or are you okay? Maybe share your hero tag.
I would. All I'd say is the community is we're trying. We're trying our best. Hopefully, you can see a change in how we are trying to do this. It's not perfect, and so we are trying to get better at communicating. Yeah. Are you okay? This is the one that I will leave you with. Then you can cut it off. I don't have the mask, but you see, I will go to these events.
We will add it post-production.
Okay, I'll try and do this. I'm Bateman.
Amazing. I'm sure people will use this last screen to do some great stuff on X. Well, really, Adam, really sincerely, thank you very much.
What a crazy space we are in.
It's amazing.
I mean,
Really, it
I
was
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah,
really.
we,
Thank
we,
you.
we will try our best. We will try our best to communicate more and to be more accessible and just help us.
Okay, you can count on us, and you are always welcome on GM Web3 MultiversX. And yeah, thank you for what you're trying to do, and I'm sure things will go well. If you know what, I will tell something I have in mind for since we met at X Cities, and it will be my last sentence. Uh, is the biggest challenge for MultiversX is when Benjamin will accept to live or let his baby maybe a little bit. We can mention the hiring of a new CEO of the foundation. People are asking about it. So do you think it's one of the biggest challenge? Add more people? Yeah,
Yes, it is for anybody that has built a company from the ground up.
definitely.
You know, the day that it goes from you don't know everybody in the company, the day that you can't be involved in every single thing, and you have to let go and trust other people and trust that they will make mistakes or wouldn't have done it how you want to do it, is the hardest thing you can ever do. It's like letting your children leave home and they go out and go, I wouldn't have gone to that party. Why did you get that tattoo? Why did you do? It's hard. Don't underestimate the amount of stress and strain it makes to do that. And that's hard at the moment as well. What he needs is trust in the people around him, you know, trust from the community as well to do that. It is hard. You hit the nail on the head there. It's not easy. It's like I've sold a company that I built from the ground up, and this is how I describe. I was richer in pocket, but I was poor in heart, and I don't know if I should have done it, and it hurt like hell. But it's life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Adam.
It
Take
was a
care.
pleasure. It was a pleasure. I'm always happy to turn up to any spaces, big or small, whatever it might be. If it's a way that I can get one more person to feel engaged, then I will do it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, Adam.
Au revoir.
Bye bye.
Bye, Adam. Thank you.
Au revoir.
It was very cool. Thank you very much, guys. Really. Oh, sorry, Tikapo. Because you're making noises sometimes, and I do too. I know. So that's why I mute me and you sometimes. So yeah, it was great. I don't know what you think about it. We can maybe debrief for 2 minutes because Arno has a hard stop at 12. I remember Arno. So maybe Arno, just a small debrief.
What I think is interesting with Adam is that he is a person who has been brought in MultiversX at the highest level of the company, and he is a complete alien. So he's a very different person from the rest of the C-level suite. Different culture, different background, a different generation. So what's interesting is that it shows that MultiversX, when they made this decision, they know that this is expected. You know, you bring someone who is very different, so it shows the will to change, the will to do things differently. And when you speak to Adam, when you listen to him, he's a person with a lot of insight, but he's also very humble and straightforward. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. he has an opinion, he's going to speak his mind. And I think that he's not behaving like this just in front of us. He's also behaving like this also with the company. And so this has an impact over time. It doesn't have an impact overnight, but I think he can do a lot of good for the company, for the ecosystem. But it's going to take time. It's going to take months. It's going to take years. So I think, this person needs time, and we should give it to him. But yeah, overall, I'm excited with what he brings to the table.
Definitely, I agree with you, Arno. If you have to leave, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a very good day, and see you next Wednesday for the last
You too,
GM
guys.
Web3 of the year. I think.
Yeah, no, yes. Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye, brother.
Tikapo.
Thank you very much. Tikapo, you want to say maybe a small word to brief this interview? Oh, sorry.
So yeah, that was a great one, by the way, because we saw someone with a brand new look around the ecosystem and really honest one. We can ask all the question we have, even the, let's say, tricky one, and he replied without any kind of problem. So that's great. That's make the fact that Multiversity really want to communicate again with the community, but this time the right way. So I think he's the man of the situation. Really curious to know what kind of vision he will reveal to the community in 2025. And then, yeah, good feeling. And let's see what will happen. But that was great, by the way. You're muted.
My turn. So yeah, before we close this Twitter space, I would like to thank our third partner of the GM Web3 MultiversX this morning. It's Wandex. You all know Wandex. It's a DeFi protocol on MultiversX, and they are supporting us for months now. Thank you very much to them. And they are offering $25 in USDC. And all you have to do is to quote tweet the link of the Twitter space. So guys, do it, and I will draw the 3 winners by the end of the day. And yeah, thank you everyone for attending this GM Web3 MultiversX. Hope you liked it. And yeah, take the time to watch it, to rewatch it, to share it. It's yeah, very, very interesting to have the vision of the new CMO of MultiversX coming from Cardano. See you next Wednesday for a new GM Web3. You can find the replay on YouTube, but also on every podcast platforms. Take care of yourself, and bye.
See you guys.